Well, I will Tom O'Brien for the next couple of days coming out of Hong Kong. I've posted into the Tiger Den today the picture of the hotel here in Hong Kong where we stay. To the right of the picture is the South China Sea that shows the other side of Hong Kong Island. If you look far, far into the foreground, you'll see that really tall building that's lit up. That's one of the largest buildings here in Hong Kong, and it's a business building, of course. But what's interesting about this is two things. If you'll look at the lower part of the picture, you'll see these smaller buildings there that are rather old. These are the ones that are worth a great deal of money because they will be torn down and these big skyscrapers will be put up, and that's pretty much what it is. But the cost of real estate here in Hong Kong is just it's about somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 a square foot, folks. So it's not a cheap place to live, but it's a cheap place to visit. You can get some really nice hotels here. The food is really, really relatively very, very fair. The transportation is absolutely unbelievable. There's no place that I've ever been where the transportation is this efficient, this clean, and this inexpensive. It's you can go all over most of the place here for about $10, and you can get on a bus and ride forever for $2. So, and the MTR, which is the underwater train that takes you between Kowloon and Hong Kong, it takes a couple of bucks and it's just a few minutes, and it's all very clean and incredibly safe. So if you're looking for a place to take a vacation, Hong Kong is a pretty nice place. And of course, you're very close to Japan and Hong Kong and Thailand and all the other places. So you might want to think about seeing Asia if you haven't, but it's a nice place to be. We're going to talk about the markets a little bit, but before we do that, I wanted to cover a couple of things that happened that were very, very interesting. The picture that you're going to see next here is the picture from the Chinese Congress that was meeting this past weekend. And I would like for you to take a look at the top of the picture. You'll see the gentleman standing at the top row there. He is actually not standing, folks. He's sitting down. That's Yao Ming, the idol of the Chinese youth, because, he's a basketball player, a very, very good one. As a matter of fact, retired now from the NBA, Houston Rockets. But he's 7 feet 8 inches tall. And the premier said to the gentleman sitting in the back row, standing in the back row, please sit down. And Yao Ming got up and he said to the premier, sir, he said, I am sitting down. Would you prefer me to lie down? And the whole place just laughed and laughed and laughed, which was very funny because it's very, very serious. Anyway, I'm going to show you is one of my favorites. So let's just take a look here. You talk about a bucket list, a dream list. This is on my bucket list. And this is basically, by the way, I wanted us to thank Steve Rhodes for his show. I don't get to listen to it very often because I'm usually done, several hours before his show comes on. But I listened to it this morning from Hong Kong. And Steve, you really give a lot of great information. I think you should, really hear the sound of one hand clapping because I think he did a fabulous job. I enjoyed it very, very much, and it was quite interesting how you put these things together, and especially using some of the things that Basil has taught you. It's really quite nice, and I love the candle stuff. But if you'll take a look at this car, this is a 1932 Ford three-window coupe. This is basically the picture that was on the cover of the album of the Beach Boys' 1963 album with the same name, the Little Deuce Coupe. And this car cost $500 in 1932 when the Dow Jones was trading at 41. If you multiply 32 or divide $500 into the price of a Ford right now of around $20,000, you're going to get around 400. A 40-time move in that time frame. But if you take the price of the Dow at 42 and divide it into the 21,000, the Dow has moved 500 times in the 88 years that it's been going on. Now, of the Dow stocks, of course, I'm sure many of you have heard us talk about the fact that the stocks of the Dow 15 of those went bankrupt. And this was during the time where, you had things like the telephone, indoor plumbing, electricity, the automobile. There were over 2,000 auto companies during 1929 to 1930. And, so this is how things have changed. And, we're changing all the time with all the technology stuff that we have going on. So we want to keep an eye on some of these things because we have some interesting patterns that we need to talk about today. The first thing I wanted to talk about here, of course, is the Dow Jones and the fact that we have these huge gaps that we've not seen before in the Dow Jones for sure ever. And we'll post this up here to let you take a look at it. This is going back over the past years. You can see when we cleared the 20,000 level, we left a gap there. There's been 4 gaps. As you can see, we have been here for, since November the 6th. Market off. It's been about 6 years. Sure that this is a valid ACD pattern because I always use a minimum swing of BC of 0.382, and you don't have that here. You only have 0.236. Even though it's a fib number, I don't use that one. So what I'm looking at are these gaps. And so what I did this past weekend while we were, giving our seminar here in Hong Kong, I examined as many of the old charts that I had with me to try to find some of these gaps that we have, because gaps have always been, big unknowns. What causes the Dow Jones 30 to move all the stocks in the Dow? All 30 stocks have to gap up. And on March the 1st, after the president's speech to Congress, the Dow left a gap of almost 100 points. That's never happened before, and that's a big gap. We have a gap on the monthly chart on the Dow, folks. That is just is totally mind-blowing. These are usually referred to as exhaustion gaps, but again, we have such few examples of these gaps. It's really hard, to get any statistics. It just knows that markets that gap up like that, end up, gapping down also. Let's just take a quick look here since we're going down memory lane here. This was one of my big things when I was at Drexel Burnham. I had been bullish gold and silver from 1976. And this is a chart for, take a little break here, 877-927-6648.
TFNN has just launched a special event in Tampa with Tom O'Brien taking place March 18th, sponsored by Nadex. Tom O'Brien will be presenting 2 workshops for a combined 2.5 hours of education, bisecting and dissecting his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System. March 18th kicks off with a continental breakfast as we get everyone checked in, and that is followed by 2 75-minute workshops with Tom O'Brien. The first workshop from 8:45 until 10 a.m. will cover quality volume, cause and effect, and ABC structures, and the second workshop from 10:15 until 11:30 a.m. will cover swing points, testing, and the Tiger Gartley. Tom will then wrap things up with a question and answer session, which will be followed by a Tiger Luncheon Social on the rooftop of the Westin Hotel. The best part is that it's all free, but you must register to attend. Visit the front page of TFNN.com for all the details and to sign up today, and we hope to see you in Tampa on March 18th. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.